Hi everyone, Alchemist here. Today I'm going to talk about the Seal of Solomon, or the Ring of Solomon. I'm going to explain what it is, and I'm going to share with you some information that I discovered about it recently. This seal, which has the hexagram engraved on it, has intrigued many throughout history. I myself wear the Seal of Solomon. But today I'm going to take you on a journey that explains the Seal of Solomon, its origin. The Seal of Solomon is also known as the Hexagram, or the Star of David in the Jewish tradition, or the Sakona in the East. The Hindus, that's what they call it. This shape is found all around the world, and many traditions, many cultures from east to west use it in their practices. Many claim that this shape is theirs, but this is a universal shape and it has meaning. So I'm going to share with you my personal experience about what I have discovered. This information I channeled from my higher self, from my spirit. But this goes hand in hand with years and years of research that I myself have done about the subject, because for years I always wanted to know the meaning of this mysterious form. The Seal of Solomon is a ring that was given to King Solomon, the son of King David. It was given to him by God through Archangel Michael. This ring gave Solomon the ability to control the jinns, or the demons, and he eventually used these demons that he was able to control with his ring to build his famous temple, the Temple of Solomon. It is also said that this ring, or this seal, gave him the ability to speak to animals and other magical powers. But what is the relationship between the hexagram shape and God? Where does this God or gods come from? And also, what is the connection between the hexagram and the pentagram, which is also another very important shape here? In order to put things in perspective, we're gonna go back in time, all the way to ancient Mesopotamia, where the original gods landed on Earth. Mesopotamia was the area where the Sumerians and the Akkadians had a religion, and this religion states gods that came from the sky. They called them the Anunnaki. Mesopotamia, where the original gods landed on Earth, and I say the word landed because the tradition of the Sumerians say that they came from the sky, along with many other religions and cultures, including the ancient Egyptians and other Eastern philosophies such as Hinduism. It's always the gods that came from the sky. But we're gonna focus on the area of Mesopotamia. There's a lot of mysteries there. Even the Temple of Baalbek in modern-day Lebanon. Some believe that it's 10,000 years old. Even that temple has the hexagram engraved in one of its walls, believe it or not. Also, we have Göbekli Tepe, which is a site in southern Turkey that dates back to 10,000 years old. It is a megalithic site that has unbelievable columns and carvings and all sorts of quite modern artifacts that dates back to Neolithic times. Throughout my research, I deduced that this area was where the initial gods, or the beings that came from above, that's where they landed. The gods of the Sumerians, the Anunnaki, they had 7 main gods. The names of these gods were An, the main highest ranking god, and then we have Enlil, Enki, Ninhushag, Nana, Utu, and Inanna. Inanna is also known as Ishtar. The observation I made here is that this correlates with the hexagram having 6 areas within it where you can fit the names of these gods or entities, plus 1 area in the middle where you put the name of the main god or the main super being entity. I want to remind you here the difference between the hexagram and the Seal of Solomon or the Ring of Solomon. The hexagram is just a geometric shape like this, with two equilateral triangles, one pointing upwards, one pointing downwards. And I also have a video that explains the hexagram mysteries, and I also consider it one of the most beautiful, harmonious shapes in sacred geometry. The Seal of Solomon, however, like the one I am myself wearing as a seal, as a ring, is a little bit different. The Seal of Solomon has the hexagram as a foundation, plus a circle around. It is a circle of transmutation, because here we're talking about occult and magic as well. Then we have these areas inside the small triangles and outside of them where you can write the names of deities or gods. In the occult, this can be used as a sigil of invocation for these gods or deities, to invoke the spirit of these deities. I want to remind you that this information is not very well known. This is information that I have discovered myself throughout my research. So even in the occult world, you will find different kinds of Seal of Solomon. The book called The Lesser Key of Solomon, also known as the Lemegeton, also has its own version of the Seal of Solomon. And that version of the Seal of Solomon has nothing to do with the hexagram. So I want to remind you that in the occult and throughout hundreds of years and during the medieval times and with alchemy and witchcraft and all these occult sciences, there has been many representations of what the Seal of Solomon could have looked like. But what I'm sharing with you is what I believe based on my research, on my intuition, and the information that I channeled from my higher self. So feel free to do your own research and see what resonates with you. Another observation I did is with the 7 archangels mentioned in the book of Enoch. Here again we have 7. Is it a coincidence? And then as you can see here, we can also fit them in the spaces of the Seal of Solomon, especially knowing that this seal was given by Archangel Michael. And that's not it. We also have the 7 lords of the underworld. Here again, number 7. This number 7 also corresponds to the 7 wise men, or the 7 sages of ancient Greece. We have number 7 again, not to mention number 7 appearing in alchemy with the 7 planets. And these 7 planets correspond to the 7 days of the week. If anything, the 7 days of the week were named after the 7 planets. These planets correspond to the 7 metals of alchemy, which are the main metals that any alchemists work with. So number 7 is always indicative of superiority or divinity or spirituality, as in like something that comes from the spirit realm, something that's non-physical. Number 7 in numerology also represents seeking. It's the number of the seeker, seeking knowledge and wisdom and the secrets of the universe. So what's the meaning of the hexagram vis-a-vis everything I just mentioned? What's the meaning of it and how does it relate? Well, in order to give perspective, I'm going to compare it with another important shape, which is the pentagram. The pentagram, which is the 5-pointed star, which has 5 edges. Penta, the word penta simply means 5 in Greek. This sigil or symbol is widely used in the occult and witchcraft. It actually represents the human being because it has 5 extremes, just like humans: the head, the 2 arms, and the 2 legs. So if you take, as you can see here on the screen, a human being and overlap it with the pentagram, then you can see that the pentagram is the representation of the human being. So that's why it is used widely in the occult as a sigil of protection. But when we connect the dots of the pentagram, we get a pentagon. And the Pentagon just happened to be the name of the Ministry of Defense of the United States of America. Even the building of this ministry is shaped like a pentagon, and it's also the Ministry of Defense. So as you can see here in the screen, do you think this is a coincidence? I don't think so. And this symbol in rituals and occult sciences is used for protection. So you can clearly see that this was done purposefully. So if this is the star or the shape of the human race, what about the hexagram? Could there be another race or another form that matches this six-pointed star, similarly to the five-pointed star, the pentagram? To me, the hexagram represents the spirit realm, higher divinity, the underworld, perfect balance and harmony, number 6 versus number 5. It is even the shape of Metatron's cube in sacred geometry, one of my favorite sacred geometry shapes. So just like how the humans match the pentagram, could there be a certain being that will match the hexagram? Well, I have found one and I'm here to share it with you. If you agree, please don't forget to credit me for this because I have not seen it anywhere else. Most gods around the world and deities in different cultures, from different countries and different corners of the planet, most of them have one thing in common, that is wings, which is something that humans don't have. Gods, angels, demons, deities, Horus, Isis. In the East, in the West, ancient Egypt, ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Greece, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, Mesoamerican religions in the Yucatan, the Mayans, the Aztecs. It's always gods that came from the sky and they have wings. Well, if we overlap a winged being with the hexagram, we get something like this, which is quite coherent, as you can see here. Not to mention the many bird avian deities throughout history, such as Ra, the sun god. He had the head of a bird. Horus as well. Isis, she had wings. Inanna, one of the Anunnaki gods, also known as Ishtar by the Akkadians. She had wings and she had the feet of a bird. Garuda in the east, the bird deity that Vishnu used to ride when he flies. And many more. Mind you, these are all depicted as avian beings with birds, specifically bird features like bird heads or wings, or the feet of the bird, specifically avians. And usually these bird beings were the highest ranking deities in different cultures. Regardless if this means an actual avian bird humanoid deity or a spaceship, just like an airplane that have wings, this hexagram for me represents the non-human aspect, the high ranking of divinity, the spirit realm, the realm of the unseen, the mysteries that have been hidden from human beings for centuries. That's why this symbol, the hexagram, have been used in temples all around the world. The East, in the West, you always find this symbol. It's the representation of the gods. It's their logo. It's the logo of the logos. Just like how we use logos to identify brands and associate them with shapes and forms, that was the logo of the gods. And that's why the logo of human beings is the pentagram. Even many countries have the pentagram on their flags as a representation of their country. Even the stars on the American flag, if we look closely and connect the dots of the stars, we find pentagrams. So where did these gods came from? These gods that created humans, where did they came from? I believe they came from the future. They were living on another planet or on Earth, and from the future they came because they destroyed that version of the planet they lived on, and they came here on Earth and they settled. These ancient gods, they created us in their image, so we are like them, as above, so below. Wars, killing, murders, and destruction is part of their behavior, and it is part of our behavior, and that's what we're doing as well. They did it and we are doing it. So similarly, one day is gonna come when we are gonna go and conquer other planets and also create our own minions that are gonna serve us and do things for us, because we are the royals, we are the creators, and we're gonna call them humans or mumins. We're already starting with advanced robotics, biotechnology, nanotechnology, chip implantations, and many other types of advanced technology. The ending of the movie Look Up with Leonardo DiCaprio have an amazing depiction of this, what I just mentioned. So I believe that's how the gods arrived on Earth, and that's how everything started. So the Seal of Solomon, when it was given to King Solomon, that's because Solomon was also a descendant, just like his father David, of the gods. He had their DNA, he had their blood. That's why he was a king, and that's why Archangel Michael himself gave him this ring. It was for protection. It's the logo of the powerful gods. That's why the demons, or the Igigi, these other creatures who roamed on Earth and were much more powerful than humans, when they see this sigil, they obey. They are scared of the gods, because to them that's kind of a sign to not harm humans or to not do anything to them, because they know if they do so, especially to a direct descendant like King Solomon, they will be in trouble. The gods will be after them. So that's why showing this sigil is powerful. It means that you are with the gods, or you are a direct descent of the supreme gods. For me personally, it's one of my favorite sigils. I use it for my rituals, I use it for protection, I wear it all the time. I do believe it's a powerful shape, it's a powerful sacred geometry sigil that can give you access to the world of the unseen. Thank you.